The New York Giants are facing what arguably could be their toughest opponent of the season this far. It's the 4-1 Rams. But I think the New York Giants can win this game. Let's find out why. What's going on? Welcome to Breaking Tackles, the New York Giants podcast. I am your host, Antonio Reyes. What's going on, guys? Thank you so much for dropping by. We're going to make this a nice and quick episode. There is so much to talk about with the New York Giants. There is so much off the field. Twitter's going crazy. We're already talking about draft. We're already talking about what could have been, what should have been. Why is this defense this? Why is this defense that? And I think this is the perfect time to just get away from all the speculation talk and let's just talk about the Rams. Let's talk about the game that's in front of us. Let's talk about how this could possibly be a win. Yes, that's right. I said a win. And I know that a lot of you guys are going to listen to this and be like, this guy is crazy. But I think that stylistically, this is a very good matchup for the New York Giants. And unlike last week, where I saw the tape of the Dallas Cowboys and I was like, man, I just don't see how we could win this game. Well, there was actually a chance for us to win that game. You guys can listen to the episode before, so we're not going to get into that one. But this is complete opposite for this matchup. And we'll break that down. We'll talk about the offensive side and the defensive side of the Rams. And how I think that this is actually a pretty easy matchup compared to Dallas. I think that Dallas is a lot harder of a team, believe it or not, than the Rams are. And again, you guys might think I was crazy, but we're going to go ahead and we're going to break it down. And let's start off with the offensive of the Rams. So let's go ahead and see how the Giants can break that down and could actually, maybe not stop, but definitely contain. Here we go. All right, so the Rams offense, guys, is an 11 personnel offense. They are currently ranked as tied for 6th in the league in terms of scoring, 28.2. They're not 6 exactly. The Cleveland and the Chargers are 28.4, but I'm just going to say they are tied for 6 at 28.4, and they're 9th in the league with 408 yards per game. Listen, this offense is stacked. And to be honest, I think this team is going to go very far in terms of, I think they're going to be in the NFC Championship game, to be honest. I think they're going to be one of the teams on the championship game. They're just that loaded both on offense and defense. And Matthew Stafford, I think, was an excellent piece over Jared Goff. That is a very smart coach, understanding that the one piece that he needed to get over the hump is I'm going to put Matthew Stafford is a top 10 quarterback in this league, and he's been playing like it, to be honest. All he's doing is he's coming into the game right now in week 6 with 12 touchdowns and 3 interceptions, and that's amazing. I mean, and God knows. I mean, I think this is a trap game for them, but again, we'll break down why that would be. And let's start off first talking about real quick the Los Angeles Rams. Their top players and the ones that we should worry about the most. Cooper Kupp, obviously, he's the slot wide receiver, and he is their best wide receiver this year. I think this guy is amazing route runner. He knows how to find the holes on the zone and on the man, and this team is dangerous when it comes to just – that's the guy that's going to be the biggest problem for us. It's going to be Cooper Kupp and Tyler Higbee because those are going to be attacking the inside of the field, and we just honestly don't have the personnel or the scheme to stop that. So that's going to be the hardest thing for us. But on top of Robert Woods and Deshaun Jackson's deep threats, I think that if we stay in that cover 2 defense or that cover 2 either man or zone, we should be better off. I preferably would love to see the Giants run zone heavy. Listen, I'm talking about I don't want to see cover 0. I don't want to see cover 1. I want to see just cover 2 and cover 3, cover 4 the entire game. I don't want to see man coverage. I know. Obviously, I'm not in the Giants facility. They are going to run man. But I hope it's very minimum. I hope that they're understanding that this team needs to pick up the confidence first. They need to get their confidence up before we go ahead and have man. Do I think man should be implemented later in the season? Absolutely. But when the confidence is there, not right now because we're just not confident enough. It's either A, not confident in us, or two, we just don't have the personnel in the middle of the field to play man. And I think it's more the latter than the former. So they run 11 personnel, and there's not just running like similar sets. They're doing, they're doing either 3 wide on one side with a tight end, and it's a lot of single back too. To be honest, a lot of snaps are not from shotgun; they're from under center. So they're running that 11 personnel with a single back, and it's not off of shotgun. I didn't see a lot of shotgun in their last plays. They usually get on shotgun when they're in a must pass situation. And in the must-pass situation, you have to be careful because Stafford is going to throw beyond the sticks. He is not just going for the sticks. And this guy has a gun, an arm, and he trusts on his arm. So he's not afraid of getting past it. So like last week where Bradbury got beat on a deep ball because it was a 3rd and 8. First of all, obviously the defense didn't get there for the sack. And Prescott had enough time to actually get a deep ball out there. That's what we also have to be careful on this game too, because Stafford, if given enough time, he will take those shots on 3rd and 8. Instead of going for the sticks, he is going to go for the touchdown, and he will take those risks. Because at the end of the day, remember, guys, if it's a deep ball and it's 40 yards down the line and it's intercepted and 3rd down, that's just a punt, and it's fine. So these are the quarterbacks that understand the risk reward on 3rd down. And that's something that we have to be very careful with. One thing that I saw on video, and this is just me taking a look, and again, this is the exact same thing that I didn't like about the Dallas game, is the offensive line of the Rams. It's not a big line. And that is encouraging to me because I feel like we're not going to see the amount of movement that we saw from Dallas to our defensive line. And I do think that this is going to be a really good game for Ragland. Ragland, to me, is going to be very important in this one because I want to see him just getting those stops down. I also, whoever is the inside safety, obviously we're going to have Crowder, we're going to have Ragland, and most likely we're going to be in that nickel formation where we're going to have a safety inside the box like always. If it's not going to be Peppers, if Peppers is not ready to go, I would prefer to see Love in that situation, to be honest, or McKinney. And I think that it's going to be a good game for them because, first of all, the Rams don't play with a fullback. They play with a tight end and an offensive line. And they do a lot of dive plays. I think that fits perfectly for this team. I like what I'm seeing out of Austin Johnson. I love what I'm still a believer of Leonard. I would prefer if Dexter is getting penetration, but I also want to see him make the plays, finish the plays there, and tackles for a loss. I do see him getting a lot of penetration, but I want to see him also make the plays. And that's how I feel like we have to focus, even though that this is a dynamic pass team. They are going to get their passes off. They are going to get their points off. I'm not saying that we're going to hold them to freaking 0. It's not going to happen. Again, my thing is 21 to 24 points is what the defense has to hold them. But we have to stop the run. It's important. And in my opinion, I think we will stop it. I think we have the personnel that matches up with this personnel. And it's very few games where I felt this confident of our defensive line, even at this, where everybody else is knocking our defensive line. I am confident that Ragland is going to have a lot of opportunities to make plays in this one. Also, another gentleman who is not getting off the field and he's still on the field there is Crowder. Crowder needs to step up big time. He is just getting constantly just caught up in the wash. He is just looking a lot. I don't understand why Crowder is not sharing snaps with somebody else. I don't understand why we haven't brought in another linebacker, because Crowder, even though yes he is wearing the green dot and apparently he knows this playbook, I haven't seen much from Crowder. And this is a game where, hey, listen, you shouldn't be getting bodied by the Rams offensive line. Time for you to show why you belong in this field, Crowder. The outside linebackers of ours also have to come and start showing up. Lorenzo Carter did have an interception and in the last game. It's time, guys. It's time to put a consistent stats together. Yes, to be honest, I am not one that's thinking that this D is as bad as it is, as the people are saying. I don't think it's a personnel issue. Again, that's why I'm still optimistic about this team putting together some wins. I think it's schematically based. I think we're not putting our players in the best position that they need to be put. But I am confident in Patrick Graham. Absolutely am. I think it's just he's trying to be too cute with this man coverage. Obviously, you brought in Adoree Jackson because he is supposed to, and they want to go man. This is what the Patriots have been doing, and everybody else wants to imitate the Patriots in that man coverage. And obviously, Patrick Graham, Joe Judge, and everybody, even people in Miami, they're all coming from where? New England, where everybody just wants to be cute and play man all the time. That is a luxury. Playing man and being able to play man good is a luxury that unfortunately we and most of the NFL doesn't have. So this team needs to stay in zone. So let's recap what I need to see from this team defense in order to keep us in the game. And that's one, I need to see tackles for a loss or tackles for no gain on the run play. I think that it's important that we stop the run. The pass game, we can stop this pass game. These wide receivers are not big physical wide receivers. And yes, they do have deep threats, and we haven't been good against deep threats. If we can confidently stop the run while keeping our cover 2 intact, and Crowder, this is where you come in. You have to play better defense in the middle of the field because the middle of the field will be attacked with Cooper Kupp and their tight end, who is an amazing tight end. Tyler Higbee. They're gonna come at you in the middle of the field. So whoever's playing that strong safety inside safety, they also have to help Crowder and protect the middle of the field. So we haven't seen that, and I understand that. I'm not expecting this team to be flawless coming this Sunday. I just think we have an advantage on the line of scrimmage, which means that I think we're gonna have an advantage stopping the run. The pass, I'm not confident about it, but you have to first stop the run, put their offense in must-pass situation. Stafford does throw mistakes. Again, we also have to capitalize and start catching those interceptions, start recovering those fumbles. And I think the defense is probably going to give up 21 to 24 points this game, and that's going to give us a winning chance to win this game. On defense, let's talk about their defense. It's a 3-4. Sometimes they do go ahead and it looks like a 4-3, but obviously the star of that one, it's Aaron Donald. We all know this. He's gonna get double teamed. He's gonna get triple teamed. Listen, we gotta if that defensive line is gonna beat us, we just have to make sure it's not Donald. Donald is an amazing guy. Donald, if he is not getting penetration, he is taking the proper angles to still affect plays. This guy is amazing. He doesn't give up on plays. His motor is insane. I have so much respect for this guy. On the secondary, obviously, we know that their best player is Jalen Ramsey. Let's do everybody a favor and not mess around with Jalen Ramsey on deep passes. I think that Jalen Ramsey is okay with giving up short routes. He's okay with giving slants. He's okay with giving small stuff because what he doesn't want to give up is deep passes. But with that being said, they are a heavy zone team. They are playing zone very often. And I think that how you beat the zone is crossing routes all day. Please let's involve the screen. Obviously, I don't think that the QB option, the RPOs are going to work. What's not probably going to work is going to be where you're running the RPOs and you're choosing to run, but then you're choosing QB run. And on top of that, it's going to be, hopefully, to be honest, in terms of our quarterbacks, I'm good with Mike Glennon or Daniel Jones, to be honest. I liked what I saw out of Mike Glennon. I think that with a whole week of practice, he'll be able to run this offense at a competent level. But if Daniel Jones comes back, the thing that Daniel Jones is going to provide us that obviously Glennon is not, is going to be the legs. So hopefully, listen, I don't care about the concussion. The concussion happens. If he's playing on Sunday, then he should be using his legs. It shouldn't be on some like, hey, we're going to protect him because he had a concussion, so we're not going to run him as much. No, then he shouldn't be playing at all. He should be on the sidelines watching, because if we're not going to get the 100% version of Daniel Jones, both legs and arm, then we're doing ourselves a disservice. Because in my opinion, arm alone, then bring in Glennon, who at least looked like he had a better grasp on the offense. He was actually getting the offense to do formation changes. And it looked good moving the ball. And then obviously, we need Jason Garrett to please help us out and open up the offense when we get in the red zone. And that's a problem that we've had all season long. Again, it's not about, again, how am I going to feel confident about that happening and changing up? I don't know. There was things in the past regime where they wouldn't change at all. I do think that Jason Garrett is open to suggestions. And again, the spotlight, this is another week where the spotlight is on him. Are you going to open up the offense? So I am optimistic that Jason is going to open up the offense. All right, so before I talk about what do we need to do to win on offense against this defense, I also want to just touch base on their punter. And it's funny because I never talk about punters, but Hecker is a game changer. And this is exactly also why I wanted to bring a punter. It's Kadarius Toney time to punt return this week, because Hecker has this. He has an amazing leg, changes fields. He does 40, 45, 50-yard punts. I wouldn't be surprised even if he does a 60-yard punt. But what does that do? He outkicks the coverage, giving punters chance to run the ball. We need Kadarius Toney's playmaking ability to be at punt return this week. There's no excuse for Toney not being the punt returner this week. Now let's go ahead and talk about what the Giants need to do on offense to win this one. On offense, the New York Giants need to play the exact same way they did in Dallas. I know you guys are going to think I'm crazy, but it's true. Keep the spread offense on the field. Keep the play action. Keep the rollouts. We did see, which is crazy, I saw Glennon do a rollout and hit Kadarius Toney on a crossing route. I haven't seen that all year. So we need to see that more often. We need to see the screens. There were no screens in that Dallas game, which was weird. And if there were, please let me know. Let me see them, because I don't remember seeing screens. We need to run the spread formation, and we need to keep, the heavy zone defense. Stay away from Ramsey. Please abuse the corner on the other side. Robert Rochelle, whoever the hell they have out there, David Long Jr., whoever, just abuse that side of the field. If we want to win, do not test Ramsey on deep passes. This guy turns into a wide receiver. He also gets non-calls on him, guys. Like, when you are the best corner in the league, you're also going to be able to get away with stuff. This guy is a cheater, but it's cheating within the rules or within the limits. You know what I'm saying? The little tugs and stuff like that. He is extremely good at that. So just leave him alone. And lastly, listen, it's not about the runs. Jason Garrett, please, when you get inside the red zone, please stop running these bunch formations, these going all this crazy stuff. Stick with what's working for you guys down the field. Just because the field got shorter, and I understand the field got shorter, doesn't mean that you still shouldn't take advantage of that mismatch. You still have mismatches on the 11 personnel, so please stick with that. Keep running the ball, but listen, just run the ball to show a different look. The focus of this matchup shouldn't be running the ball, especially when they have Donald and you're going to try to run dives. That's not going to work. Listen, our run plays are not going to work this week. Plain and simple. especially because we have a very similar run game as the Rams. By the way, it's a lot of dives. They do run what is that called, sweeps, and then when they sweep and they pull with the two guards. I think that's gonna be the thing that on defense, that's gonna be the thing that's gonna have to be worried with us. But for our offense, when we run the sweep with the two guards pulling, trust me, they are going to be able to stop that stuff. They have good range of motion from side to side, and they're playing zone on top of that, which it's easier to stop sweeps when the defensive team is playing zone and they're heavy on the zone, guys. So you have to be very careful running those type of things. Listen, I gave up trying to get outside run plays from Garrett. So just chill on the inside plays this week. We just don't need to run the ball so many times. Let's just open up with play action, and let's keep it that way. Screens should be another version of runs. This last thing that I'm saying, this is something that I don't mention usually because it's so weird how things go down, but the Giants can't beat themselves when it comes to penalties, when it comes to fumbles. Like Glennon had a missed snap fumble. And it was perfectly right in his hands, and he just let it slip by his hands. Like little things like that would just can't happen, especially against this defense. They're the least penalized defense in the league. So if you want to win, play mistake free. And if you really are going to make a mistake, let's do a mistake that they're going to force us to make, guys. Not something that we could easily avoid, like a false start, like a delay of game, and fumbling on snaps or handoffs. That's something that we gotta avoid. Okay, if we want to go ahead and they want to make us fumble, let's let them force a fumble. Let's let them knock us out. Let's let them sack us. That type of thing. Let's not shoot our own selves in the foot, because obviously we're just not that good to do so. Guys, I've never talked about betting in this podcast, but this is the week where if the Giants are a 2-touchdown underdogs, I would absolutely advise everyone to put money down on the Giants. Take the points and run with it, because this has just upset all over it. I hope the Rams lose, because they're going to knock out 30% of my survivor pool if they do lose. And I have just a strong feeling that it is going to happen. All right, guys, that's going to wrap it up. Thank you so much for listening to the podcast. Like, subscribe, and if you have any comments, anything about it, please drop down the comments on the YouTube section underneath. We'd love to hear you guys' opinion. And I'm on Twitter at BT Giants. Come through, come show some love, and let's talk about the game. All right? And let's leave the off-season talk. Let's talk about this week coming up and the week after. Let's not stop with the speculations. Enough Gettleman talk, honestly. Enough what if, what coulda, shoulda, woulda. Until Gettleman gets fired or he gets the endorsement he's gonna be here again, it's enough. Let's just get out of that. All right, guys, have a great one. I'm out for real now. Bye-bye.